And a good Saturday midday to everyone. Roger Hill, VELCO Weather Hazards forecaster. We're looking at the big picture, and of course we have a storm system that's off to the west of us. It's been producing an influx of different precipitation types in the last 24 hours, starting with some wet snow, as much as 3 inches in a lot of places in the eastern parts of Vermont, and maybe even a little bit more than that in some parts of Orange County. There may have been some very isolated outages occurring with a little bit of wet snow loading potentially. However, that's now a thing in the past. Temperatures are going to warm up. In fact, we're going to see highs basically approach 60 or even in the low 60s for this afternoon because we have a big dry slot. That's what's rotating in. This upper level trough and the surface low that's laggard kind of behind, kind of separating these two what parts of this same storm system out. And we have a big southwesterly fetch aloft. And what's going to end up happening is this is going to warm up our surface areas that don't have any snow, especially west of the spine of the Greens. And we're going to start to see thunderstorms kick in and then traverse, it looks like, into the southern part of Vermont. It looks like they'll be relatively weak here, I believe, but just a little bit to the south, things are going to be a little bit more hot and heavy as we get into the late part of the day. This is going to be a late Saturday development and something that utilities need to monitor. Maybe putting out a sub-alert for that later in the day. See the latest heads up. Meanwhile, this system's going to go on by. We have more weather systems pushing in across mainly the northern sections of the Pacific Northwest or Northern California. And we'll see more of that jet stream energy, it looks like, later in the week, especially on Wednesday and Thursday with a big fat rainstorm. But a big cyclone bomb could be developing in some parts of the plains and then kind of curl up and produce blizzard conditions in the Dakotas, and then spread a big rain shield out west, very much like this one, and probably some unsettled weather with some front-end business and maybe some back-end business. Stay tuned on that. That's late in the week, mainly Wednesday, Thursday. Let's take a look at the modeling. GFS Ensemble on the right, we have the European deterministic model on the left. This is the 0Z model run. This is our current rain that's worked in, and we're going to see sort of an ending to that and pushing through and even a little bit of sunshine with a lull. And then, of course, that'll be followed by that back-end system and a cold front and some pretty gusty northwest winds will be developing into the morning hours on Sunday. That pushes through. It's going to be fairly short-lived, and we only get up near thresholds for gusty winds with the northwesterly winds that'll develop overnight Sunday night. So again, real fence line kind of stuff. Once we get beyond that, high pressure is going to build in for what should be a pretty nice day, really overall Sunday, but a cold day. Temperatures only topping out in the low, maybe some mid-30s, thanks to a ridge of higher pressure. And then we have these weak weather systems that are pushing through off and on with a little bit of rain and snow shower activity, not much Monday afternoon into today on Tuesday. And that forms a kind of a cold front that will then saddle through the region and try to bisect the state. This is valid Tuesday night at about 8 p.m. That frontal boundary kind of lifts north. It produces just a little bit of precipitation. This is our inland bomb I was talking about that's going to be developing, and kind of jet stream energy pushes in from the Pacific Northwest, gets in the eastern east of the Rockies and spins up a pretty strong kind of a Colorado Lee low pressure system that then curls into Minnesota. This is going to produce blizzard conditions. This is a inland bomb, 976 hectopascal is no chopped liver, and this is going to produce a giant rain shield pushing our way with that warm frontal genesis. Thankfully, the freezing rain aspects will be to the north, and we're going to get the warm side of the system. So that's a warm front, pushes through. Then we get a cold front that could produce a few thunderstorms, it looks like on Thursday morning or late overnight Wednesday night, somewhere in that time frame. And then a little bit of residual shower activity, and then it pushes on out. And then colder weather follows beyond the outlook period for Friday, and then high pressure will set up beyond the period. And this is a 3-hourly QPF centered on Montpelier for the GFS Ensemble. And what we can see is kind of a double peak here. This is our second peak that's really going to be developing tonight with that band of showers and some thunderstorm activity in southern parts of Vermont. That moves on out. Then we have a little bit more precipitation, and then we dry things out and set the stage for a couple rounds of different showers later in the week. A little bit more uncertain with the GFS Ensemble as we get into the Wednesday, Thursday time frame. Looking at precipitation type, it's mostly going to be rain, a little bit of snow, and then mostly rain, a little bit of snow, and then just slight amounts of wet snowfall kind of mixed in off and on. So not a whole lot to worry about. 850 millibar hectopascal temperatures here. This is above 0 degrees centigrade. About the top of Mount Mansfield, this slice of the atmosphere, we're seeing basically temperatures well above the 0 degrees centigrade, drop below, pretty sharp drop off, sharp cold front. It's going to cause a freeze action and could affect travel. And then we start to make some inroads going above 0 degrees centigrade at 850 millibars. That happens later in the week toward this weekend with mostly all rain. Looking at the total amount of QPF, it looks like to the north of us it's going to be a little bit more of a area of precipitation here. You can kind of see it extends there. A little bit less, a little bit more to the west of us, roughly about a ½ inch to an inch QPF total. And that's fairly good agreement with the European currently. Today we have some warmer air sneaking in, and indeed temperatures hitting close to 60 or maybe even beyond that. Up to the north and west, colder than normal temperatures, and that's going to be spreading south and east, of course, with the temperature oscillations. You weight the temperatures all together for the next 5 days. These are just high temperatures only, well below normal up in the northwestern parts of the country into Canada. Near normal for us, if not a little bit above normal, just to the south. About 3 days later, it looks like this. Make barely any movement here. Kind of a similar weather pattern. Cold in the west, warmer in the east. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.